before there was an Rey Network, before Predators, before Sin City and From Dusk Till Dawn movies, before the Spy Kids series, and before Desperado, there was El Mariachi. Robert Rodriguez burst on the independent film scene entirely by accident. This isn't a joke either. The movie that made him famous was never meant to be seen by Hollywood studios. You see, back in the early 90s, he was a student at the University of Texas who couldn't get in the film program because of his grades. Frustrated by this, he produced a short film on his own and submitted that to the same film festivals that the actual film students were submitting to. Surprise! He won. After he garnered a small bit of success with his short film, he was able to convince the head of the film department to let him in despite his low grades. Shortly thereafter, he had an epiphany. The best way to learn how to make a feature film would be to do it the way that he learned how to make his short films. Make a few of them. You see, the short film that won him awards and got him into the film program wasn't his first. He'd been making short films with a camcorder and his siblings for a while before he made Bedhead, the one that got him into film school. He knew there was a hungry Spanish language video market, so he devised a plan to make an action movie and sell it to that direct video market, and then use that money to fund another film, and repeat that until he had a trilogy of films, a small wad of cash, and far more experience than his film school counterparts. After he accomplished that, then he could burst into the Hollywood indie scene, experienced and somewhat funded. There was only one problem. He didn't have any money for his first film. Enter science. As a struggling college student, he was already aware that there was a local pharmacological testing hospital. That's where they pay healthy people to take the drugs that they're testing. How do you think those human trials that the FDA requires all drugs to go through were done? He went through the screening process and got himself locked in a hospital for a month. His plan was to earn money to fund the film. And with the free time he had away from his other responsibilities, he could even write the script. It wasn't like being in the study was a drain on his actual time. They just really needed a controlled environment. When he was released from confinement, he was a bit richer and he had a script to shoot. He borrowed a film camera from a friend who wasn't going to be using it at the time, and he went across the border with his childhood friend to shoot the first of what would be his training films. This film wasn't without its difficulties, but that's exactly what he wanted, to make mistakes and failures in obscurity. That way, when he made a break for the big time, he would have already learned those lessons. The plan was perfect, and it worked. Almost. There was a part of his plan that he didn't know was going to be a problem. He made his movie as cheaply as possible because he figured that the Spanish video market wouldn't have a lot of money to buy the thing. There was once he tried to sell his $7,000 film to the Spanish video market that he realized why he was never impressed by them before. They couldn't afford it. Secure in the knowledge that there had been other short films with bigger budgets than his feature, he felt fairly accomplished with what he had done. But this didn't solve his new problem. He needed to make another movie. In fact, he wanted to make 2 more if he was going to learn as much as he wanted to by the time he finished the film program at university. So, on a lark, he sent his newly categorized foreign language film around to the major studios to see if there was any interest. He wasn't really ready for the response he got. The studios were amazed by his learning project. They were even more amazed when they found out how little money it cost him to make. It was onward and upward for Rodriguez, because it was no longer about whether he could make another movie or not. It was now about who was going to pay him to do it, and whose money would he like to spend doing it. He became the indie darling he wanted to be well before he intended to be. He even got a book deal, and not one to want to waste good content. He turned his diary into that book, Rebel Without a Crew. It not only tells the story of how he accidentally broke into the film business, but it's filled with advice as well. If you're interested at all in filmmaking, you should pick up a copy for yourself. Since his no-budget days, Robert has moved on to make Hollywood movies with Hollywood budgets, some of which are among my favorites. He was even offered a deal to create his own cable television network. El Rey is dedicated to the grindhouse films and the indie pictures that made him who he is today. It's with his rebel spirit that I'm inspired to keep going on this journey I'm on. I'm doing what I can, however I can. And I'm certainly not taking "it can't be done" for an answer anymore. Robert Rodriguez, you are my hero. If you didn't know about this film legend already, then share this video, help it find a bigger audience. If you did know and think others still don't, then you should share it too. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and otherwise follow me on social media so you don't miss out on what comes next. Let me know what you think by answering the question of the day that's going to pop up behind me. I'll be back Tuesday with a new video. Stick with me, Rebels. We can do this. I'm not inherently pessimistic.